Welcome back to Moneyline Madmen with Sean and I live from our mom's basements. Well, actually, I'm in my basement.
Yeah, we're both in our own basement.
Yeah, that you talk about people who are quoting, not quoting, but being all bullies and stuff like that on Twitter, their mom's basement. But we're actually in our own basements, and actually, I'm in my prison window. I'm in my dungeon.
We're not that bad at gamblers or that bad that we're in our parents' basement at all.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
So yesterday we both were right. I know you said you were going to parlay the American League and the under in your own account.
Yeah,
and that's what worked out. That was a good thing. We were both agreed that the under was the way to go. And I like I said, I didn't make it an official bet because these exhibition games aren't really. I don't want to stake my claim on an exhibition game, but I philosophically the American League was the better bet because it was a 50-50 and you were getting better odds on the American League. So your parlay worked out.
Yeah, and actually, what I did is I did separate bets. There's what's the word for it? The rolling, but I did the AL by itself. I did the under by itself, and then I put them together for a small amount as well. And then watching it when they were up about 4-1, I jumped on the parlay again, AL, and it was under 10.5. I threw another $30 on it, so I made quite a bit of money with the All-Star game. Got nervous towards the later innings when they started, loading the bases and stuff, but all worked out well.
Yes, but our Chris Bryant from Chicago leaving 5 of 8 runners for the National League on the bench on the bases.
The only thing I missed is when Guerrero hit a home run. His odds to win the MVP were about plus 110 at that point, and I was going to jump all over him. And I thought it's only going to take one guy to hit a 2 or 3 run home run, and they're going to be the favorites. So I let it go, and he won the MVP.
Should go with that gut instinct, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was right about I wasn't right about the Qatar side of things because I said the stupid soccer tie, but that was a very fun game. At least the second half was a very fun game to watch. Qatar probably should have won that game. They had a lot more chances to score, but one guy named Ali messed a couple of them up at the top of the box where he's one-on-one with the goalie. An additional touch or maybe a little bit more finesse and he would have scored. But anyway, it was a fun game to watch. The other side was Honduras. Some really bad goal to get Honduras on the board. The goalie, I don't know what he was doing, and the player shoved him out of the way and scored. It was pretty wild. But that's the cool thing about North American soccer is much different than like European soccer or South American soccer. Those games are a little tighter, a little more closer, a little bit lower scoring because the quality of play is much better. But here they're more fun to watch because there's more openings. The players aren't as good. They're not as crafty on the ball. They make far more mistakes passing. So it creates more scoring opportunities. So it's one of the few times where the better soccer players are less fun to watch than the not so good soccer players.
Yeah, and you keep saying about that stupid tie, and that stupid tie keeps happening. I almost think you're just better off betting the tie in soccer in some of these games.
The stupid soccer tie. Yes, yeah. I agree. You're better off betting the super. Yeah, we go again. Stupid soccer tie, right? But there won't be any stupid soccer ties tonight in the NBA. That's for sure. They'll play until there's a winner. We got the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Phoenix Suns, and it looks like right now the line is kind of moving a little bit towards the Milwaukee Bucks. They opened up at 4.5, and right now they are a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, I think the Suns.
Oh, wait a minute. Something just happened. That line moved. No, it opened at 3.5. All right, yeah. So now it's 5. 4.5 to 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was looking at the long number. I'm like, wait a minute. It went to 3.5. But no, but it's depending upon the book. It's between 4.5 and 5.
Yeah, I'm liking the Suns here as the underdog. Like I said, you're going to get the A+ effort from Phoenix tonight. They're not going to leave it go at being up 2-0. They need this as much as Milwaukee. I like the value here. And Milwaukee always seems, I don't know, I just don't trust Milwaukee in the playoffs. They never do well in the playoffs. They're here now, but even so far this postseason, they've had just some bad losses, bad decisions. You might see more of the hack Giannis tonight again.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to leave him roll and score the 40 again for the third straight game.
Well, speaking of him scoring 40 again on DraftKings, they do have a bonus if Giannis can hit 40 again or more. Of course, not exactly 40. You get plus 350. On the pre-show, you were thinking you like that because he's been on fire.
That's interesting. The value of plus 350 is not bad. He's 3 out of his last 8 games. He's been over 40 and 2 in a row. The odds of him doing it 3 times in a row would be my concern. But, they're gonna live and die by Giannis here. And if they do foul him too, yeah, he's gonna miss some free throws, but he's also an easy way to get some points as well.
Yeah, I looked it up on Basketball Reference. Looked up his stats. Giannis, right here, you can see they are. And in the regular season, in a 61-game schedule, I think it was 60, 61, or at least 61 games that he played. Yeah, he scored 40 or more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's 1 out of every 12. So that's about an 8.5%. For me, you need a hell of a lot more than plus 350 for something that hit at 8.5%. But you did mention he's done it in 3 out of the last 5, you said?
2 in a row and 3 out of 8.
3 out of 8, so 38%. Still, I want more than plus 350. You're going to have to boast that up, DraftKings, to like 700 to get me involved. Otherwise, doesn't attract me whatsoever at all.
Yeah, I think some with the postseason and the regular season, I think you got to do what we did and balance it out together. So he's done it 3 out of 8, and then the regular season. But the postseason is a total different world as well. So take what you like out of that. I think I'd be more concerned about. I couldn't tell you how many times they were saying the other day on who's done it 2 times in a row, scored 40 or more, and you had your normal. Michael Jordan's done it a ton of times, Kobe a couple times. Those kind of.
I did it in summer league basketball.
A couple times?
No, never. Maybe like from my combined totals for the entire league, I scored for the entire summer. I scored for. That's actually true. When I was younger, I scored about 17 points per game in the summer league, but never 40.
Yeah, so 3 straight times would be absolutely incredible. So
yeah,
we'll I'm not gonna go on it, but those odds aren't bad. But we always talk about sometimes they seem to be sucker bets. They know the odds of him scoring 3 times in a row are not good, so they're offering it to everybody.
Mm-hmm. So, are you going to do anything on the game? The over/under is 222. So, are you going to do anything on the game, or are you going to do anything on the total?
I'm
221 on the line.
I'm going to put 20 on Phoenix to win. I like the value here.
You're going to put. Are you going to bet him money line, or are you going to bet him with the points?
I'm going to take the money line. What are they? Plus 168, I think, last time I saw.
So right now the Phoenix Suns are plus 170. We'll get you plus 170.
All right, I'll take it.
Well, I'm on the other side of this game. I'm going to bet $25 on Milwaukee. It's an official bet because when I factor in the home and away, not just the last 10, but their home games in the playoffs, Milwaukee is 9-1 at home. They've been really hard to beat in Milwaukee. So yeah, they screw up a lot of things on the road. They play some bad games, but at home they don't play. And then meanwhile, Phoenix on the road, 6-3. They lost to an average Lakers team at home and on the road. They did also lose to the Clippers on the road, which is not a bad team, but I don't really think they had to go through the toughest stretch in the West this year as they would have had in years past. So I'm going to take Milwaukee minus the 5 to win that game outright for $25. I feel like they're going to get this game. So you and I are on opposite sides. So
this is the first official opposite side of the game's official bet.
Well, the thing is, I can kind of win and we can both lose, right?
Yeah, we can both lose. Yep.
If Milwaukee doesn't win by 5 or more, then I lose and you lose. So let's hope it goes one way or the other, right?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And there were some interesting bets. Looking at FanDuel has all kinds of bets. They actually have a wire-to-wire bet. Mm-hmm. You can neither team, and what that means is the same team's leading at the end of every quarter or not leading at the end of every quarter. So you could get Milwaukee for a plus. You could get neither for minus 135, and you can get Phoenix for like plus 650. I would tend to lean to neither here because this is a big game. I don't see either team going wire to wire, but
you never know.
It was an interesting bet.
You also have a same game parlay. I'm not into these things like you are. Hitting one thing at a time is difficult enough for me, but hitting 2 is another story.
Yeah, I'll do this from time to time, and this is a $10 bet, and if I win, it's I get $120 back. So the first one I'm taking is Devin Booker under 27.5 points.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't do as well on the road with his points, And he's definitely going to have a better game than last game. But 6 of his last 8 games have been under this amount. So I feel pretty confident there. The next one, I didn't get the best value. I got about minus 155 with Chris Paul under 4.5 rebounds. But this is probably the lock. 7 straight games under this amount. And last game, he had 0 rebounds. And then I'm going to go, this is the one that might be either way, but I'm going to go on the past and the what's been the trend. Giannis Antetokounmpo under 13.5 rebounds. 7 of his last games have been under. 13 of the 18 games in the playoffs have been under. And you're getting about 50-50 value there. But people like to bet that one because it seems like he'll get them, but he seems to be about the 12-13 rebound mark a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And then the last one is Drew Holiday over 8.5 assists. 6 of his last 7 games have been over this amount. He's really been picking up on the assist value. And that one was a plus line, actually.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Just kind of want to rewind a little bit back to my Bucks pick. I want to just tell you my projected scores: Milwaukee 113 and the Suns 98. So let's see how that plays out, right?
Are you leaning towards the under?
Yeah, I don't know because to me, as we talked about in the first game, if the game is close down the stretch, they're going to go to fouling. So you can have a game that's trending under, and then you hit the last 2 minutes and the fouling starts, and it goes from trending over to absolutely trending under to absolutely over like that. And I don't really like to do that in the playoffs. In the regular season, they don't do that quite the way they do in the playoffs. So that's the reason why I don't like to bet the total unless my totals come in on the over in the simulations, because then I know that those last few minutes are going to work to my benefit, right?
Yeah, and it was interesting. I know they were like 4 or 5 straight games on the over with these two teams. Last game was depending on when you got it, because I know it opened at like 222. I actually had it at like 220, and it was a draw. So officially, they probably counted it as that was the time they actually hit the under.
Yeah, well, it seems like the games have been a little lower scoring for Milwaukee when they're at home. I think they play a little better defense at home. So one thing that's going to be defensive is that damn course over in Britain, the Brooks Koepka. He's becoming kind of like the class clown of golf, I guess. He's talking about how he does that course is not my favorite and how he doesn't like it, blind shots and all that kind of good stuff. Golf is kind of one of those things where you get a lot of pretty high value. You get a lot of plus lines, no matter what you do. So I have a more nerdy stuff. I get into Excel and I don't know how this happens, but professors, PhDs at universities get government grants. So in other words, our taxpayer dollars to study really stupid things, one of which is golf. And some PhD at some university put together a formula and he posted it online. You can look it up in one of these academic repositories of how you can calculate for fantasy sports who's going to do well golfing. So me, of course, I found it, I read it, and then I made the Excel sheet. So I went through here and I found a couple of things that I like for the British Open that we can run through real quick. First of all, to win, I think Jon Rahm is probably the most likely candidate to win this tournament. I don't really like to bet a whole lot of people to win because it's kind of like betting on one number in roulette. Sometimes it happens, but most of the time it doesn't. But Jon Rahm is playing very well. I saw an interview with him last night on TV. He seems to be in a very good place mentally. Says he's very happy at home. He just had a child born. He's playing exceptionally well. Just won the U.S. Open. I feel like he'll be in contention on Sunday. Plus, he's from Europe, used to those link style courses, and you're getting plus 700 for a guy who's probably playing better than anybody else in the world right now. But I also look for some other plus lines where you can find folks maybe a top 10, top 20, top 30, top 40. So in the top 10, Colin Morikawa, top 10 guys. One of the top players in greens in regulation, plus 230. I like that. Daniel Berger, another high greens in regulation guy. And at these British courses, the bombing like they do over here is not that important. Really, what's important is accuracy because they have these big mounds on the fairway. They have grass as tall as I am. They have bunkers that are twice as deep as I am. It's just a crazy kind of golf. So accuracy is more important than bombs away. So Daniel Berger's another high greens and regulation guy. Top 10, he's plus 400, which is a pretty good number, I think. And then top 30, a gentleman from Mexico. He's a little small guy. Abraham Answer. Again, a very accurate player, probably one of the most accurate, best iron strikers on tour, in the top 30. So it doesn't have to win. It doesn't have to be in the top 10. Doesn't have to be in the top 20. Just make the cut, make the top 30. So that means if he makes the cut, he's just got to be in the upper 50%. He's plus 115. I think that's a pretty solid take right there. And then got a couple of top 40 plays. Number one is Emilio Grillo, another high. You got another very high greens and regulation guy, very accurate, good ball striker, decent putter. He's plus 275. And Stuart Sink, I know, old guy, been around a long time. He's playing really well this year. I think he's got 2 wins on tour, tied for the most. And the dude's like 500 years old. But he's plus 160. So I think some of those are some pretty good British Open bets. And on the other side, to miss the cut, this I found kind of interesting. I think one of the favorites to win it is Bryson DeChambeau. His style of game does not fit whatsoever at all.
He's an all-or-nothing guy.
He's a grip it and rip it and hack, right?
Yeah.
The problem is you can't hack out of grass. Like I said, they're literally as tall as I am. Or in these bunkers. It's not going to fit. Accuracy is important. A man does not play an accurate game. He's just decided he's going to hit it as far as he can and use a short iron to get up onto the green. That will not work. He's plus 225 to miss the cut. And another gentleman is Patrick Reed. He's a hot or cold kind of golfer. He's plus 275 to miss the cut. And one other one that I would kind of maybe look at, probably doubtful, but Rory McIlroy seems to get off to horrible starts on day one. And he can get way behind the 8 ball and put himself in a spot where he's under a ton of pressure on Friday to make the cut. So when you wake up tomorrow morning, they're on. Rory's minus 30. But if there's any one guy that I was going to bet to miss the cut, it would be Bryson. So those are my golf bets. And I know you had a few that you saw on FanDuel.
Yeah, and then you kind of answered it there. So they have a special offer: Royal McIlroy, Luis
Osterhausen.
There you go. And DeChambeau all make the cut. That went from plus 100 to plus 200, but you just said right there that you don't like that one at all.
No, I would probably consider not taking that. No, I feel like one of those two. I feel like Bryson has a really strong shot of missing the cut.
Okay, and then this one you might like: John Rahm, Koepka, or Jordan Spieth to win. Went from plus 330 to plus 400. You get all three, and only one of them have to win.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting Rahm, I think that's a pretty good bet. Spieth is kind of out of form, and Koepka says he hates the course. So I think it's going to come down to Rahm out of those three.
Well, then you might as well just go Rahm by himself. So, yeah, so then neither odds boost is probably worth it.
Probably not. I would go with just, like I said, those are some of the bets I like. To me, the top 40s are decent because you don't need a guy to play exceptionally well to still get a plus line. And the folks that I picked out, they score really high on that formula that the PhD used our tax money on to create. And they're really high greens and regulation accurate golfers. So they should be in contention to make the cut. And if you can make the cut, you're just a stroke or two usually away from being in the top 40. So
I like your answer pick. I've seen that name on the leaderboard quite a bit, and he does seem to be pretty consistent. So top 30 is not bad.
No, not bad. And you're getting a plus line. So I do like that. All right. One final thing, Gup Soccer. We talked a little bit about that. I've been right on 3 out of 4 games, but yeah, big deal because they're minus 1,200, right? I mean, it's no big deal. But tonight I'm going to go a little bit different. Trinidad Tobago is playing against I think they're playing. Hold on, let me just open it up real quick. I had it open. I think they're playing against El Salvador. Yes, Trinidad Tobago is plus 250, and the draw is plus 205. And El Salvador is plus 135. Money is moving El Salvador's way. I've watched those games. Now, Mexico dominated Trinidad Tobago. They should, because Mexico and the United States are far superior teams in CONCACAF. They should dominate their opponents. El Salvador does not fit in that dominant. And the funny thing about these two teams is when they play, despite the fact that Trinidad Tobago is a smaller country, not a traditional soccer country like El Salvador, but the last 5 times they played, they'd either tied 2 times or Trinidad Tobago won 3. Watching the way they played on their opening games, I don't really see a difference between the two. So if you decided you wanted a Dutch, which is what I'm going to do, again, the lines are, hold on a second, we pop the right one open again. It's 250 and 205. So if you wanted to Dutch bet them, and let me bring the Dutch calculator up real quick. If you had $10 and you wanted to guarantee a profit if Trinidad Tobago wins or they tie the stupid soccer tie, it's a way you can make some money on a stupid soccer tie. If you bet $4.66 on Trinidad Tobago and $5.34 for every $10, you'll make a profit of $6.30. So that's a plus 163 line for a tie and a win. So there's three possibilities. El Salvador wins, they tie, or Trinidad Tobago wins. We're getting two of those possibilities for plus 163.
I like it. I mean, I would tend to go with that stupid soccer tie, but yeah, I mean, that way, what you're saying right here, it doesn't look like you're going to lose, so you're going to make some kind of profit.
Well, you can never say you're never going to lose, because when I take something so emphatically, like I just put the L in El Salvador, and that L is for lock. Right?
Yeah.
For sure. So anyway, that kind of wraps up the sports scene for today. Anything else, Sean, that you have on your mind?
We can talk about the U.S. basketball team. I mean, what a disaster that is. They play again Friday against Australia, and they're still favored by like 12.5 points, which is insane. I guess people just keep thinking they're going to turn it on whenever. It's hard, too, because these are exhibition games, but U.S. doesn't lose at all, no matter if it's exhibition.
What were they, 63-2 or something coming into this?
Yeah, and they've already had back-to-back losses. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. You know, I maybe they feel like they can turn it on when the Olympics start or something along those lines. I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, it's not the most talented team neither. You know, not all that good.
Nigeria and Australia?
I know. I mean,
but I could see losing to like Serbia with Luka Doncic, or you can lose to Argentina, or some of those countries that have star NBA players. I can't think of one. Is there a player from Australia in the NBA? I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know who's on the team. Nigeria, I think there was at least one. I was looking at the odds to win the gold medal. U.S. is like minus 350 still, and then you're getting Australia second. They're like plus 700. Nigeria is like plus 290. So if you really think U.S. ain't gonna win, you could find some value there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that they'll get it together. I mean, they have clearly the best player, one of the best players in the world, in Kevin Durant. So at some point in time, Kevin Durant's going to play like Kevin Durant, not like Sean or Rich.
Yeah, I mean, he tried the other night. He kept making threes and trying to come back, and Nigeria still beat him. Tomorrow I got some baseball futures, which is not my favorite bet. I'm not a patient bettor. I mean, you can make some money with these future bets, right? Like football, but to put it in the account and leave it sit there to see if it's a winner is not my favorite thing to do.
So Vegas can collect the interest.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
like they need more money.
I mean, to lead, I just saw somebody had like $500 on Ohtani and DeGrom both to win the MVPs, and they're stand to make a lot of money as they're both the favorites right now.
To win MVP?
To win MVP, both of them, AL and NL.
Yeah, DeGrom's not going to win the MVP.
Well, he's the favorite right now, but I will tease tomorrow. He is not my pick. I have a pick for the MVP. He's not my pick.
Pitchers don't win the MVP. Pitchers get the Cy Young, and they don't get the MVP. It's kind of an unwritten rule. It's the etiquette.
Plus, we've talked about DeGrom. He's starting to come back a little bit. He's given up a couple runs, 2 starts in a row, which is unbelievable for him.
I mean, philosophically, right? If and I'm not a bettor, maybe if our show grows enough, you and I'll get a vote. But right now, we don't get a vote. But philosophically, I could never, ever, ever, ever give the MVP to a person who plays once every 5 days versus a dude who plays 5 out of 5 days.
Right. I mean, what DeGrom's doing is amazing, but also it's not translating to wins. If it translated to wins, then every time his ERA is 1.2 or lower, and he's 20-1. I can see it.
Nope. Pitchers can't be the MVP.
Right. So
they just can't be the MVP.
They could sell those tickets. I saw, and I don't have the exact, but they could sell those tickets and make a lot of money on one of those shops where you can sell the tickets. I would do it if I'm them because of exactly what you're saying. Voters have the rich syndrome here where they don't want to. They don't
it's
want
not a rich syndrome. A pitcher at best can win once every 5 days.
Right.
A field player's in the field every single day, making hits, making catches. So to me, I don't know. To me, it's easy. Fernando Tatis Jr. is the MVP in the National League right now. He has the second half like he had the first half. You could just put it in the books.
You ruined my tease because that's my pick. So
no, right? Well, there you go. But I mean, if the guy has the second half of the year and San Diego is first or second, makes the playoffs,
and he's a plus line too. He's plus 115. So
yeah, I mean, there's just no way. I mean, if he has the second half of the year like he had the first half, and then you got Vlad Guerrero, you got a whole bunch of guys over in the American League that are possibilities. But right now, Fernando Tatis is that you can stamp that down. FDA, whatever it is, the bank guaranteed. He has the second half of the year like he had the first half of the year. You can just put it on the board.
Yeah, and he missed some time too, and he's just getting better, whereas DeGrom's starting to come back to reality. So they seem to be the only two that are getting any consideration. So it is time to jump on Tatis if you're that kind of better.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a field. It's going to be a position player. No and ifs or buts about it. Besides, DeGrom is due to get a little bit of one of those hamstring injuries or something that knocks him out for a while. Sorry, Mets fans, but that's what's going to happen. All right, Sean, that wraps up Wednesday, July 14th. Tomorrow's payday, so we better have some really good picks for people because their accounts are going to be flush. So we'll see if we can make their gold coins make more gold coins. That's the secret of all the richest man in Babylon. Until then, everybody, may all your tickets be winners.